So you really like the low interest rate you have in your current home, and it's keeping you from moving on to your ideal home, whether it's upgrading or downsizing. We need to find the strategies to make that new ideal home a reality. What are your thoughts about that, Scott?
Well, I do understand the process or their reasoning behind it, right? They're in the high 2s, low 3s%, and they don't want to go up more than double their interest rate, so it's really going to hurt them. But the one thing they do need to keep in mind is that if rates do come down, which we're all hoping that they do, because everything's going to completely shut off if it doesn't at some point. If they don't, or if they wait too long, when those rates come down, a flood of buyers are going to come into the market, and a flood of listings are going to come into the market. And so ultimately, there's a lot more competition out there. There's more likelihood of their home to sit, more likely home of then doing price reductions and not making as much on the property as they would currently, right? Because right now there's low inventory still, even though we seem to uptick lately, but there still is low inventory. So when you have that low inventory, and if you do everything correctly with your home, get it all set up right, really good photography, and get it out there marketed correctly, you can get the most for your home currently. And then ideally when you go in and when you find something, hopefully you'll have good buying power because there's not a lot of competition at the moment, right? And then you can marry the home and
Date the rate.
Date the rate, correct.
Well, I mean, I feel that homes have been sitting on the market longer today, and we're seeing a lot more price reductions.
Correct.
Having those price reductions are actually hurting the seller right now.
Absolutely.
I would say that there is plenty of techniques and strategies as a realtor that you can implement to get the most traffic in that home, right?
Absolutely. Yep. So we always start off, I go in, have a consultation with the sellers, give them all kinds of suggestions with the home, what to do with it to make it look really good and presentable. Then we get professional photography, really good photography, and then we need to price it correctly. We need to comp it out and not overprice it. So you get people wanting, I think my house, because of these certain little things, is a little bit more than the neighborhood. Well, it's only going to, some of those things that they have with their home aren't necessarily as important to some, other potential buyers. And so they need to get real when they price the home and price it accurately. And you want to price it to where when someone looks at it online, they see the photos and they see the price, they go, that looks great. I want to set an appointment. I want to go see that home. You want to get people in the door. That's the only way you're going to get offers.
Right. So once you get that consumer in the door, right, you potentially have multiple offers. You have as much exposure as possible out there. Now you may drive that price up to where you initially wanted to place it. Yep. But if you start at the ideal price, you may not draw as much attention to the property.
Yep. Everybody's always like, let's just say you're close to 100,000 mark. You're at 700,000, like, oh, I think my house is worth 720 or 715 or something like that. Typically when people are searching online, they're kind of going 100,000 marks, 50,000 marks, 700, 750, maybe 725, whatever. They're kind of like quarter increments. And if you're just a little bit over the number, they may miss seeing your home. They might put in their search at, I was at 700 and you wanted to price it at, I think it's worth 715 or whatever. Whereas if you were to price it at $699.9, you're going to get the maximum amount of eyes on the property. Then they see the photography, see how good the home looks, see the price point. Oh, let's go see this house. You want to maximize the amount of people that are thinking that same thought and get them into that home as quickly as possible when you initially list it. Because the longer it sits, the more people see it's, oh, this one's been on the been for sale for a while. We can go in and lowball them.
So ideally, when you price a home, you want to get it listed at a reasonable price and draw as much attention and traffic to it as soon as possible to maximize your profit.
Yes.
Well, that seems reasonable to me. So if you want to learn more, give us a call. My name's Anel Green-Moore, and my number is 760-594-0608.
And I'm Scott Sease with Drive Real Estate, 760-533-3117. Happy to help.